Thanks for returning to Finding Good Tool. Today we continue on part 2 of Laozi on Daodejing and Neo-Daoism. I'm Gutul, G-U-T-U-L. The opening line and the most important and profound line of Daodejing is 道可道非常道. What does 道可道非常道 mean? Most people, if not all people, would say that it means the Tao that can be spoken of is not the eternal Tao. Well, how did Laozi speak about Tao and explain what Tao is then? So this interpretation and the translation of 道可道非常道 simply cannot be correct. This slide shows 7 scholarly translations of 道可道非常道 into English. The way that can be told of is not an unvarying way. The Tao that can be told of is not the eternal Tao. The way that can be spoken of is not the constant way. The Tao that can be trodden is not the enduring, unchanging Tao. A way that can be followed is not a constant way. Waymaking that can be put into words is not really waymaking. If it can be specified as a Tao, it is not a permanent Tao. This slide provides the references for the 7 translations. The most scholarly and monumental achievement in translating Daodejing into English has to be the Taoist Cannon, edited by Schipper and Verellen. Laozi今注今译, written by Chen Gu Ying, a professor at the Beijing University, is the most popular and authoritative modern-day Chinese interpretation of Daodejing. And this is what Professor Chen Gu Ying says about the first chapter of Daodejing. The entire chapter is about one word, Tao. This metaphysical Tao is unspeakable. No languages or words can be used to describe it. That is, Tao is indescribable. No concepts can be used to point to it. An even more outlandish and ludicrous example is offered by Yuan Zhiming. He says, Laozi himself did not totally understand Tao, and thus was unable to express Tao with great clarity. Laozi did not believe that human rationality could comprehend Tao, or that Tao could be explained by human language. What is the difference between the old Daoism and the Neo-Daoism? The old Daoism is that incomprehensible, unspeakable, and indescribable Daoism, while the new Daoism, the new and authentic Daoism, is totally based on science and philosophy and can be clearly, that is, unmistakably, and cleanly, that is, unambiguously defined, described, explained in languages and words. We will show that Laozi is not only the founder of Daoism, he is also a forebear of modern physics and philosophy. This slide is Daodejing's chapter 25 in Chinese. We will explain it using a table in English on the next slide. The universe is made of substance and space. Universe being as itself is made of substance being as itself and space being as itself. Substance being as itself is in turn made of particles and is called Di by Laozi. Space being as itself is in turn made of bosons or force fields and is called Tian by Laozi. The unit being in itself is made of substance being itself and space being in itself. Substance being itself, or the nature of substance, is changing in form. Space being in itself, or the nature of space, is unchanging in nature. The universe being itself is called 自然 or nature or Chang Dao by Laozi, and is changing in form and unchanging in nature, is symmetry and is non-duality. Laozi says in chapter 25 of Daodejing, two things were mixed together before they were Tian and Di. One of them is constantly revolving and changing, and is the mother of Tian and Di, and is the nature of substance. The other is quiet and vast, and unchanging and independent. It is big, is disappearing, is very far away, and is opposite. It is opposite to the nature of substance. Laozi continued to say in chapter 20 of Daodejing, I don't know their names, and reluctantly I call one Dao and name one Da. Laozi names the nature of substance Dao and names the nature of space Da or Da Dao. And Laozi says Da Dao is nameless, formless, emotionless, indolent, ignorant, and anarchy. Peter Atkins, a famed professor of Cambridge University, in his written book, describes the nature of universe in exactly the three same words: indolent, ignorant, and anarchy. Laozi also calls the nature of substance the being, or 有名 in Chinese, and somethingness, or 常有 in Chinese. Laozi also names the nature of space the non-being, or 无名 in Chinese, and nothingness, or 常无 in Chinese. Here is our interpretation and translation of Daodejing's chapter 25 in English. There is something mixed together out there before there are 10, space being as itself, and a D, substance being as itself. That something is quiet and vast, independent and unchanging on one hand, but also moving and non-stopping on the other hand. Together, they are the mother of the universe. I don't know their names. I reluctantly use the character Dao to name one of them. Reluctantly, I give a name Da to the other. Da means disappearing. Disappearing means very far away. And very far away means opposite, as Da is the opposite of Dao. Therefore, Dao is in Dao, Tian is in Dao, Di is in Dao, Ren too is in Dao. Da is everywhere, and human being is just a very small part of it. Ren follows Di, Di follows Tian, Tian follows Dao, and the Dao follows Zhilan. X in the top row is a variable. It can be substance, space, the universe, or everything or every name that comes to our heads. Our consciousness of substance as itself is something, or 有. All consciousness of space as itself is nothing, or wu. All consciousness of the universe as itself is something or nothing, or 有无, and is 名可名. All consciousness of everything or every name that comes to our head is everything, or 万物, and is 名可名. All consciousness of substance in itself, our consciousness of space in itself, our consciousness of the universe in itself, and our consciousness of everything or every name that comes to our heads in itself is always duality, or 道可道. When we are not around, substance in itself, or nature of substance, is change, is Dao, is somethingness, or Chang You, and is the being, or 有名. Space in itself, or the nature of space, is no change, is Da Dao, is nothingness, or Chang Wu, and is the non-being, or Wu Ming. The universe in itself, or the nature of the universe, or the nature of everything, is changing and unchanging, is Chang Dao, and is the eternal nothingness, and is symmetry and non-duality. This slide is chapter 1 of Daodejing and our interpretation of it in Chinese. Our interpretation and translation of chapter 1 of Daodejing in English follows. Daodejing chapter 1. What we think Dao is not Chang Dao. What we think Ming is not Chang Ming. Please note that the best, simplest, and the most poetic English translation of 道可道非常道 is simply, we see things as we are, not as they are. Daodejing chapter 1 continues. The nameless, the non-being, nothingness, or the nature of space is the origin of Tian and the Di. The named, the being, somethingness, or the nature of substance is the mother of Wan Wu, or everything. Therefore, through nothingness, the nature of space being, we peek into the myth of the universe. And through somethingness, the nature of substance being, we peek into the clue of the universe. Please note that it is indeed from clues in the nature of substance we unveil myth in the nature of space. This slide offers several examples of such. Daodejing chapter 1 continues. These two are of different names, but of the same origin. They both are deemed mysterious. They are the most mysterious of all mysteries, but they are the gateway to understanding of all mysteries in the universe. Please note, by these two, Laozi refers to A. Chang Wu, nothingness, and Chang You, somethingness. B. Wu Ming, the nameless, or the non-being, and You Ming, the named or the being. C. Da Dao and Dao, or D. Space being in itself and the substance being in itself. Please also note, these two most mysterious beings are the nature of space and the nature of substance. They are inseparable and indivisible. They are collectively the nature of universe, which is Chang Dao, symmetry, and a non-duality. This completes our lecture today. Please join us on our next stop, our journey. And that stop is called Buddha on Heart Sutra and Neo-Buddhism. And here is one more clue for finding Kultur. See you.